Welcome into the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. And look, y'all can't say I don't love y'all because we've been hustling, we've been grinding. Still got a live stream today. Just came out of the studio, I guess you can call it. Recorded an interview. Got to come up for you tomorrow. Our guy, Blake Baker, defensive coordinator of LSU. It was a good interview. I'll give you a little bit of a preview later on. But first things first, we got to talk business. We got to get right into it, right into the meat and potatoes, if you will. We ain't doing no warm-up. We ain't doing no intro. Nah, none of that. We're jumping straight into that water. SEC Media Days. The media got to do their voting, put their preseason list out there on who they're watching, who they think are the top quarterbacks, wide receivers, even the top teams got to be awarded their flowers, so to speak. It's a little premature, I would say, but I got some takeaways from it that I want to talk to you about. Now, obviously, look, take all this with a grain of salt, because the first thing that I want to say about any type of human voting, there's always that era of a bias, if you will, quite frankly. There's always something about it that I think you got to take into account. Hold on. My guy G Sports is calling me. Let's get G on the airways without him knowing, huh? What's up, G? I'm live on YouTube right now. What's good? Okay. What time? Today? Okay. All right. I'm going to call you back after this. All right, later. We got G Sports in here. He's scheming. He's trying to get some things going, get some things working. Stay tuned. It'll be an interesting afternoon. But here's my takeaways. Number one quarterback, Lenora Sellers. Now, I do think Lenora Sellers has your highest ceiling. I do think that this is one of the pieces that you're going to have to look toward as the future of the SEC, right? He's got the mobility. He's got the arm strength. Last year, he led his team in rushing. And I'm high on Lenora Sellers. And I'm not trying to say he's not a top quarterback. However, number one preseason, when you haven't seen anything from the team, any type of competitive push, if you will, it's interesting to say the least. My guy would be Garrett Nussmeier. And yeah, you can call it bias. And that's why I opened the segment with this. Everybody has their own opinion, their own spin that they're going to put on things. And with what I've seen, whether it be spring practice, fall practice, last year, how rebuilt and revamped this offense is toward him and his style, I got to put him at number one. And that's not to say Lenora Sellers isn't a great guy. I think he's a top three quarterback. Matter of fact, you could argue that he's second. But first, you got to go with the gunslinger, number 13, soon to probably be number 18. You got to give Nussmeier some credit, especially because just the amount of experience that he's had. I'm not gonna lie, that's what I'm riding on. Then when you look at the wide receivers, this is what's interesting to me. You don't have many LSU mentions in this regard. Matter of fact, you got one. You got Aaron Anderson, the speedy guy out of Edna Carr, got a lot of experience, especially at Alabama. And you heard the Nick Saban joke, oh, well, you'd be playing a lot over here comparatively to how you were at LSU. Well, look, he's found his fitting. He's found his groove. He's found his piece into the offense, and he's probably going to be one of the most utilized pieces out of that wide receiver room. However, we're talking about speed. We're talking about talent. It being the most stacked room we've seen in a while. Everybody running a sub 4.4. How do you only have one LSU wide receiver on this entire list? I mean, you would think, especially with the quarterback throwing to them, that somebody like a Chris Hilton would pop in there at the very, very least. I was surprised to see that as well. In terms of running backs, what I've seen, Nate Frazier, Jam Miller, they were in the third team. That was a little wild. I would have slid them up. You see Caden Durham at second, and that's a good spot for Caden, I would think. I mean, yeah, everybody's going to argue he's a first-team caliber player. Yeah, I agree. However, it'll be interesting to see how LSU's run game evolves next season with that offensive line that is going to look to return 80% of the starters from last year. Not in terms of replace, my bad. That's going to be one of the most focused areas for the Tigers is how they're going to be able to produce out of that backfield. Obviously, it's going to be on Caden Durham's back, but he's got a lot of pieces to be able to share that pot. Harlan Berry's going to get thrown out there. Caleb Jackson's going to have a bigger season than last season. I'm going to guarantee you that. So I could see why they're kind of tapering the expectations on him. However, I got him pinned as one of the highest risers on this board in terms of looking at the preseason rankings, overreacting during talking season, getting overzealous and thinking, all right, yeah, he's right here. I think he could turn some heads. I'm also shocked that Harold Perkins wasn't on the first team. And there's a lot of factors to go into there. The position change, the injury, recovering from that point. I think he's going to see success. A lot of people are questioning about the new role. That's the main narrative around Harold Perkins is how is he going to be used? How is this going to be able to be fitted? I think that they're going to have a great plan installed for him, and I think that you're going to see it pay dividends, especially in terms of utilizing his skill set to push him to the next level. Who did get the nod on the first team? Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart. Those two guys are a no-brainer. Obviously, the DM from Texas is Colin. South Carolina, Dylan Stewart. Those two pieces are going to be killing offensive coordinators all season because of their ability to get to the passer and just that overall rush that they're bringing in SEC football. If you can't get to the quarterback, you really can't do anything. If you can't put pressure on the guy throwing the football, then you're going to be in for a long night. You might see a 50 ball, 60 ball, 70 ball. I mean, geez, keep counting. How high can you go? That's going to be the big piece. That's going to be the big focus on any defense. It's going to be how you're able to neutralize that arm threat. And those two guys that I'll give my highest of praises to. Now, I said Caden Durham's going to be huge, right? I said he's going to be an early riser. Who else? I'm going to throw out Ryan Wingo from Texas. I think he's going to jump off those boards, fourth wide receiver on this list. I'll be real. I could see him climbing as high as number 3, number 2. I don't know about number 1 because it'll be a competitive season. You got Ryan Williams, you got the LSU guys, but he'll be able to throw his name in the hat. I'm not going to lie to you. We'll talk some O-line. Shout out Cole Kublik. I'm going to put my trench cap on, and I'm going to let you know how I'm feeling about those rankings. Connor Liu, our guy, popped on the show during SEC Media Day. Shout out Connor. Third center on the third team. It throws me off a little bit. Now, I know Auburn's not the flashiest of SEC teams. They're not the big dogs. They're not the piece that everybody's looking toward to go to Atlanta and hoist a trophy at the end of the season. But he has an insane amount of experience. All 3 seasons, getting thrown out in the fire as a true freshman in one of the most pivotal parts of the offensive line. Dude, you're the quarterback of that whole entire unit. That 5-man front is living and breathing through you. So I'm interested to see how that's going to be able to plan out. I think he'll be a huge, huge riser. And then last but not least, John Mateer. He's jumping off those boards. If you ask anybody that watches football, covers football, enjoys college football at the very least, they're going to throw out a variety of names, whether it be Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, we saw Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway, all great choices. Who's not getting talked about enough is John Mateer from Oklahoma. And there's a couple of reasons as well, because not many people are watching Washington State football. However, in terms of production, what he was able to do, 3,600 passing yards, I believe, he was top 10 in damn near every passing statistic that mattered. Those type of things I think are going to help push him and translate into success. And look, Coach Venables needs it. Coach Venables is not in a situation where you kick your feet up and you just wait for the wins to pile up. Now, you're going to have to go out there and go get them. And that's what they did this season in terms of the transfer portal. Go and grab a signal caller after their quarterback Jackson Arnold left. And they, quite frankly, I would say elevated the skill at that position. And that's no slight to Arnold. He's still a great quarterback, but it's just the arm talent that I see in John Mateer, I think can push him into the top 3 of SEC quarterbacks. Now, that's going to be my hottest take out of this segment. I'm going to pop out of here. We'll talk about the Blake Baker interview real quick. Just what we learned. Like I said, podcast coming out tomorrow. I'd say right around 10 a.m. Maybe a little earlier if the Wi-Fi will cooperate with me. You know how Cox does me. We talked about his journey. We talked about what motivates him, how he connects with the team, especially with the evolving landscape of NIL. I mean, sometimes it's like a revolving door. You really don't get your core guys in for longer than, sometimes 2 years at this point. But I like his approach. We talked about him wearing cleats, getting out there in the practice field, being one of the guys and showing the example by his actions rather than his words, not just going out there and trying to direct and tell them, but he's going to show them. And I think that's one of the key pieces as to why you've seen the success and the, quite frankly, the instant turnaround of LSU's defense. Look, last season, obviously there's some areas that you want to grow in. I think the biggest one will be guarding a mobile quarterback. I mean, but look who you're playing against. And look who we're talking about in terms of Jalen Milroe, Lenore Sellers. All these guys were at the top of their game. And it's in the SEC, that's kind of how it is. You've always have a tough test waiting on you that next week, and there's always going to be something to nitpick. But for an overall comprehensive review, I feel like with what he had last year, he worked well with it. And then we talked with him about the talent that he's got on his team right now, how it's the most talented defense he's gotten to work with. You've got pieces all over the place, whether it be edge, D-line, linebacker, of course. The DB room got an instant overhaul. It's going to be magic this season. I'm not going to lie. I think there's going to be a lot of good storylines coming out of your key pieces to watch for. A great episode, obviously. Stay tuned tomorrow. We'll be dropping that. We'll be clipping in. We got another one coming up here shortly. I'm going to have to spoon out of here to go record that. But let's reflect on UFC 318. UFC 318 came back to New Orleans. I'll say my initial thoughts. Wasn't the biggest star-studded card, right? Didn't have all the big names, didn't have all the flashy fighters, but what it did have was a hell of a lot of finishes. Your first 6 fights, all finishes. I believe 2 submissions. The rest were knockouts. I'm excited about just the future of fighting in Louisiana, because you got a lot of key pieces. I'm gonna shout out Carly Judas. We got her on the show. She talked about her pre-fight journey, her mindset, her game plan, and boy, she wasn't wrong. I ain't gonna lie. She went out there, put a clinic on that woman. Every single combo was landing at will. Everything was intentional, and then she took home the bonus. So shout out to her. Shout out to her coaches, our guy Drake Pellegrin, well deserved. And there's more to come. I mean, she's gotten 5 wins now in her pro career, all 5 by knockout, 4 of the 5 in the first round. It looked like at times she was going to be able to get it done early, but look, when you come home with a little bit of extra dough, I know that that's exciting. And another thing that I want to point out in terms of New Orleans, I feel like, look, I'm biased, especially because I want to see some more UFC fights in the booth, but it was a good environment. I mean, I don't know if it was 100% sold out, but the arena, I would say through the prelims, even at around like 7, 8 o'clock, you had at least 50 to 60% of the arena there engaged, cheering. Yeah, you had Brendan Allen, obviously Carly Judas. You had some Louisiana talent in there, so that's going to play a big role into it. But I feel like it was really interactive throughout the whole night. It had a huge pop during the main event. That's a given when the Diamond comes out and is fighting the BMF and Max Holloway. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it just seems like it's one of the more perfect spots outside of Las Vegas for them to be able to revisit. And you have your staples. You got New York City, Miami. They're always going to rotate to those main trios. Then you got overseas, ZO2 in London, Abu Dhabi, the Fight Island. I think New Orleans should be added to the mix. And Dana White gave his opinion on it. He said, we're going to have to find a way to get back over here. And I agree. Everything's in walking distance. You got a lot of things to do. All the fans are going to be able to be engaged. And me and my guy Ben, shout out Bennett, you guys little debut on UFC Embedded, getting some airtime out here on the UFC network. But we were talking to a lot of people. I could barely count on one hand how many people we interacted with that were from Louisiana. Everybody's coming from all over the place, bro. We saw people from England, people from Hawaii supporting Max Holloway, Seattle. I mean, just all over the country flocking to New Orleans to be able to tap in on the event. And there's an obvious here in terms of, the tickets might have been a little expensive. Some people might have had some trouble getting in there. And yeah, I mean, look, that I would say, obviously, I would take a cheaper ticket any day of the week. But what can you do about it? The only thing I would say is just lower them ticket prices a little bit, Dana White. Let's get in there and have a good time. Now, Max Holloway. Well, before we do that, let me shout out Michael Johnson. Because Zell Huber was, I believe, like minus 700. Everybody wrote off the vet and Michael Johnson, and he went out there and put some BTA, belt to ass. Showed everybody, look, I ain't done yet. I ain't washed. I mean, he said in the press conference, too, it's a humbling game. Sometimes you want to make your words short and sweet because when you got to sit down and eat them, you don't want to have to be chewing from a huge steak. And Michael Johnson, unfortunately, was shoving them words back in Zell Huber's mouth as respectfully as he could. Kevin Holland folded against D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, the LA boy. He had a chance to come back in the third round. Couldn't really finish it. He was doing a little bit of dancing. We posted a TikTok clip of Kevin Holland getting knocked flat in his back. I thought that was when the fight would have been croaked, would have been kaput. But hey, it was able to get pushed. Paulo Costa. Secret juice came through, bro. You saw him in the press conference, a little jittery. That's the word that I'm going to use to describe him. Little jittery. He might have been experiencing a tough weight cut. The lights might have been a little bright. I don't know what it was. He said it was secret juice powder. I don't know what it was. That's Paulo Costa talking. He's a clown. He's always making jokes. That's him. That ain't me. But he ain't washed. I think he's still one of the more elite fighters in his division. I mean, look, a lot of people thought that Kopylov would have been a better striker and that Paulo would have had to neutralize him and put him on the ground. Look, he outstruck him. He said, baby, this is my game too. I'm going to show you what's good. And I found that to be one of the more, I would say, interesting fights. At first, that being the co-main, I was kind of scratching my head a little bit. I think it worked out, and I think Dana knew what he was doing. Now, the main event of the evening. Whew. Max and Dustin. First things first, Lil Wayne, what the hell is going on, bro? What the hell? My boy came out, he was just in the background. Like, he was hiding. I barely even knew he was there. No microphone, no type of performance, nothing. I'm confused. I'm like, bro, I thought Lil Wayne was walking you out. I thought we were going to have something. I mean, they came out to Can't Be Broke, and they switched it to James Brown, Pay the Cost to Be the Boss. But, man, give me a little something. Don't just walk out there. I forgot he was there for half the damn point. The fight was as advertised, though. Obviously, it was emotional. Dustin Poirier's last fight, and going into it, I was thinking he was going to leave no stone unturned. I thought he might have had less pressure on him because Max Holloway was going to continue to push on and continue to fight on for a potential title fight or a potential number one contender rating. Look, shout out to Bless Express. A lot of people are going to love to hear me say that, Ben included. Shout out Max Holloway. He did his thing. He is not the best boxer in the UFC because they got a man that's holding the strap right now that he'll probably get a second chance at that I think holds the claim to that title. But he did his thing against Dustin. Within the first minute and 40 seconds, I'm gasping, hold my breath, like, oh my God, the main event's over with already. Dustin gets knocked down, gets right back up, gets knocked down again. And I'm like, bruh, ain't no way that we just tapped in for that and it's already over. That was my main worry going into this entire week, was going watch two sluggers try to break each other's jaw and it being a short night. Because, I mean, we even talked about it in the stands before the main event came around. Like, how about being in the McGregor and Alto in the arena for that? Whenever that happens, McGregor punches someone in 10 seconds, it's over with all the hype, all the buildup, all the shit talking that went into that moment. And then just within a snap of a finger, blink of an eye, it's over with. I was worried about that a little bit. We almost got a little taste of it of itself. But Dustin was tough. He held up. In the second round, he got a little bit of a crack of his own. Max was on the ground. He tried to throw that uppercut. And I mean, bro, he was inches from ending it all. I mean, a hair length away from sending our guy Bless to the shadow realm. And he jumped the gilly at the end. I don't know. I don't know if it was worth it. You only got 9 seconds left, though. So you might as well try to make something shake. That one was for the fans. Like, there ain't no way you tapping that dude 9 seconds, bro. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm even going to say that I think Max Holloway let off the gas for Dustin Poirier. A lot of people might not like to hear that. That's the truth. That's how I feel. I think in the first round, if Max really wanted to put it on him, keep edging forward, keep being aggressive, yeah, you open yourself up to some counter punching and a lot of opportunities for Dustin, because sometimes defense is the best offense if you're going to be able to stick and move and return one. But I thought Max would have been able to put him out, put him under in the retirement fight on his back in the hometown. I ain't gonna lie. I think that Max Holloway could have got that one done. I think he stepped off the gas a little bit. They danced. And it is what it is. I'm glad he did it because he helped us get our money's worth because it went to 25 minutes. But, I mean, bro, I feel like if you give him a different situation, a different opponent, a different set of circumstances, Bless probably could have got that one done in the first 5 minutes. That's my take on it. Obviously, people are ready to watch him fight Topuria. I say, man, wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. Let's let Islam beat JDM, do what he got to do at that division. I want to see the super fight. Topuria, Islam, bro. You could charge $2,000 to get in the door. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way to get in there. This ain't done for Topuria. I see boy Coco in the chat talking that mess. Topuria is done. Well, I have to see it to believe it, because the first time I did hear that, it didn't come to fruition. Floby, what's good? Good afternoon, partner. Hate that Nussmark got snubbed. Better than Sellers, not to mention 4,000 yards last season. Come on, man. I know. What up, Steve? Spoon back with Shama. Man, AP in the building and Nola, that'd be insane. AP got something coming. AP got something coming. He got Big Onk on the way. I don't know what I think about Ankalaev and Pereira too. Look, I love Shama more than the next guy. I don't think he's getting rid of Ankalaev. I think Alex Pereira's show could be coming to a screeching halt here shortly, and it's upsetting. I mean, I love him. I'm a big fan favorite guy, but some things have to end. Some things have to change. All right. I'm going to have to shoot out of here, go back to the Football Ops. We got another interview on the way. We got a last-minute call. Somebody hit us on the phone. Hey, wait. Why y'all left without talking to me? Come on. We locking them up. We stacking them. Tomorrow, Blake Baker interview. I'm going to go back to the Football Ops. We'll keep this one anonymous. Y'all going to stay on your toes for this one. Y'all have a hell of a day. Smash that like button, and I'm out of here.